So I'm making my own cloud provider. So why am I making this? Am I naive thinking I can build my own cloud? Probably, but naive optimism is my specialty. I tend to overestimate my abilities and attempt to make stuff I don't know how to make. That makes life all the more fun. Time to take some market shares from GCP. Jokes aside, I've thought about this for quite some time. There's no serverless offering in the Swedish Nordic market, except for the big clouds which have availability zones here. And unfortunately, or I guess maybe fortunately for me, there are data protection laws in Sweden that prevents you from keeping your data on an American-owned company. My goal is to try to bake it in that space while staying lean and building something that can be maintained by a small team, aka me. So, what is the unique selling point of my cloud? Well, I think it's the simplicity. I've spent much of my time as an SRE building systems that focus on being easy to understand for a software engineer and low maintenance for the owning team. In contrary, I've used countless systems that require more than one full-time engineer to maintain. In my opinion, you shouldn't really have to revisit a system actively if your circumstances doesn't change. And really, they don't change that often. And that's exactly what I want for my users. They should be able to define their application in a very simple way, configure it once, and let it be until they want to deploy the next version. This requires a platform that doesn't delve too deep into the hard stuff like persistence or distributed software. It just does the thing it promises and does it really well. 6 years ago, I was working at King, the maker of Candy Crush, spending time scaling their platform to serve, I think, tens of billions of requests per day. And when I left, I had the feeling that I never got to finish what I started. Over my 3 years there, we worked on a new private cloud based on OpenNebula, a virtualization software similar to OpenStack. It was hosted on King's own bare metal in our self-managed data centers. It allowed us to run each application server on much smaller sizes compared to running on straight bare metal, but in much higher quantities. Due to this change, it allowed us to run each application server on much smaller sizes compared to running on straight bare metal, but in much higher quantities. Due to this change, resource utilization jumped by 100% and lowered deployment times were more than 1 hour per new node. I'll make sure to go deeper into this in another video. Back then, this was a pretty standard way to do it. You hosted your own servers using colocation and deployed VMs on top. For end users, this has changed pretty significantly since then with the wide adoption of public cloud, Kubernetes, and Docker. We can use our small scale to our advantage by building a more modern platform using the low latency boot times of Amazon Firecracker and an encrypted overlay network using IPv6 and WireGuard. I've been working for a few weeks on a demo environment of this that I hope to show you soon. It's working surprisingly well. So here I am, building the cloud that I always wanted, alone, from scratch, kind of. It's certainly ambitious, but not impossible with enough time spent. It does definitely put some requirements on lowering complexity though, and not letting scope creep take over. Next time I'll be showing you my compute demo environment and how I can deploy VMs that spawn in under 500 milliseconds in a multi-tenancy environment, with each tenant protected from the other using BPF. Thank you for listening and bye. See you next time.